Reality TV is a strange genre of its own. It can just be background noise while you scroll through your phone, mindless, shallow, empty, but it can also be very entertaining, unbelievable, and surprising, even deeply captivating due to our emotional investment in the participants' goals and shortcomings. Kitchen Nightmares USA is one of the most watchable reality TV series ever made. But why did it work so well for its duration? Just like any delicious meal, there is a recipe to follow that keeps us hooked and coming back for more. So let's investigate Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. The basic premise of Kitchen Nightmares is that there is a restaurant struggling to make ends meet, and now they're sending in an internationally renowned chef and restaurateur to turn it around. It's a similar premise to shows like Nanny 911 or even The Dog Whisperer, in that there is an out-of-control situation that requires an outside expert to come in and discipline the subject back into a functioning member of the family or society. The show's structure can be split into quarters. In the first quarter, Gordon enters the restaurant for the first time. There's usually a sense of optimism in the air.
What an amazing, buzzy little town. Great location for a restaurant.
The chefs are super confident that their food is excellent, and that's definitely not the problem here.
Everything is cooked to perfection. There is nothing on that menu that is not perfect.
After ordering at least 3 dishes, Gordon finds a subtle way of expressing that the food isn't perfect.
That is fucking disgusting.
I feel like I'm eating donkey's cock.
Can I get you anything? No?
A sick bag.
The waitstaff are usually perplexed by Gordon's overly theatrical distaste for the food. But Gordon is always friendly to them. You see, Gordon has tiers of how he treats the staff in the restaurants he visits based on their power level within the organization. The more responsibility you have, the harsher he is. The protocol with the waitstaff, as they have little to no influence or responsibility over the restaurant, is to be good friends until proven otherwise. He often asks them questions about what's really going on when he's not here. Almost like they're secretly on the same team against the owners. Sometimes Gordon even flirts with the waitresses to really solidify that he is the alpha in the building. The next tier is kitchen staff, who are now Gordon's sworn enemy, as they've just cooked him the food that he couldn't bring himself to eat, and he appears to hold an unrelenting grudge against them for wasting what could have been better cooked food.
I've just sat there for the last hour and had one of the worst meals I've ever eaten.
Dry and tasteless.
Hideous, disgusting, and an insult to Japanese culture.
He always has some choice words for the chefs, his anger raising the stakes so high that you'd almost forget that we're talking about slightly undercooking some mashed potato.
I want to give up.
It's raw. What's the matter with you?
Within the kitchen staff, there are 3 types of chefs that Gordon might encounter. There's the young kid who he wants to inspire.
21 years of age, I'm telling you, you're so composed. No one's told you that. Well done.
The talentless idiot who he makes it his life's duty to fire.
Terry Carroll, I'm panicking. Pinto, it's crap.
Or the secretly talented chef who is held back by the owners.
Okay, it's been so obvious that you've been handcuffed by Darren.
And the final tier is the owners, who Gordon has a love-hate relationship with, either because they are too hands-on and controlling.
You have no cooking background, but you put the menu together. Abby, you've got to understand how frustrating this is.
Or too hands-off and lazy.
Have you any idea how fucking deluded you sound?
Gordon never finishes a meal, just taking a critical bite of each dish and sending back a note to the chef. This is what begins to aggravate the chef, and their defense mechanisms shoot up.
Tell me, you know what? Susie doesn't even want to cook you the rest. Now I'm really getting pissed off. I'm not kidding.
After disliking all of the food he served, Gordon goes into the kitchen to meet the perpetrators responsible for his meal, almost like he's Liam Neeson seeking revenge for his kidnapped child.
Lazy,
Bland.
dirty.
Wake up and admit it's shit!
It was rancid, pointless, tasteless, a complete, utter joke.
Similar to how abuse victims grow up to be abusers themselves, Ramsay was spiritually abused by angry British TV chef Marco Pierre White, so that pretty much justifies everything. Once Gordon confronts the entire kitchen staff, this usually exposes the cracks for why the business is failing, as whatever's wrong, the owners have likely not really done anything to fix it for years, out of fear that changing anything will drive away their few remaining customers. The The first quarter is mostly Gordon being absolutely fucking disgusted with everything and everyone responsible. The intense criticism causes the owners to defend their clearly incompetent ways, almost as if they forgot that they're running a failing business, leading us to surmise that the owners are in denial.
Now you're in denial. You're in denial. You are so in denial.
Okay.
You need therapy.
The second quarter is about proving his point. Just like any drill sergeant, Gordon's aim is to break the owners and kitchen staff down into mush so that he can rebuild them in his image. But in order to point out the glaring holes in their current strategy, Gordon proves his point by filling the restaurant up with customers for the night and observing how this place operates at full capacity. As if a restaurant cannot actually function at the levels it would need in order to succeed, then its current methods are clearly handicapping them to assured failure. So while the kitchen staff are overpressured and the customers are sick of waiting for their food, Gordon goes into the storage rooms to look at how the food is kept, and typically how unclean the room is. This is one of the most unusual segments, as we have an internationally renowned chef sticking his entire hand into sticky basins, dusty shelves, and defrosting meat, as if there is no other way of explaining what's wrong with the food than sticking your fingers directly into it.
Bloody hell, what a mess.
After adding some horror sound effects, as if Gordon has just uncovered the bones of a missing child in the back room, he's had enough. This is where Gordon gets extra mad, acting as if he has never seen a filthy storage room before, despite the 120 preceding episodes that invariably did the exact same thing. Sometimes this results in Gordon shutting the entire restaurant down in histrionic fashion.
It's a joke. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Shut the place down.
Other times he just presents the disgraced storage unit to the staff and watches them lie about how recently they cleaned it. As a final way to make them realize how bad the situation is, Gordon sits down with the owners. There is no low Gordon won't stoop to get a strong emotional reaction from them, sometimes laying down insults,
You stuck-up, precious little bitch. Let me tell you something.
sometimes playing overly aggressive marriage counselor,
Not only is your wife wearing the trousers, but she's speaking for you.
and sometimes offering to fight the staff.
I'll drag you outside.
And what are you gonna do?
Yeah, do you know what I'll do?
Then they talk numbers, and it's revealed that the restaurant is in a huge amount of crippling debt.
You're losing $500,000 a year. What's the debt?
But 850.
850,000.
Gordon acts shell-shocked, as if this place is beyond saving.
I'm gone. I'm out of there.
This usually drives a strong reaction from the owners, who need him more than ever now that they realize they don't actually know how to run a restaurant. Now that Gordon has made everyone feel as if they are not only incompetent, but sickeningly immoral for microwaving his lunch, it's time to offer solutions out of this bleak situation. The third quarter is the most boring quarter, as it's all about bonding with the staff, providing the owners with a new kitchen, which usually drives them to tears, training them into cooking new recipes, and teaching them the value of fresh produce. And fresh produce is very much Ramsay's focal point, as there is one word throughout every single episode of Kitchen Nightmares that drives Gordon to the brink of madness.
And is the salmon fresh or is that frozen?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Would you ask her?
Tell him it's fresh, but it is frozen.
She said the salmon comes in fresh and then they freeze it.
Fresh frozen? Yes, sir. There's no such thing. You're making all this fresh stuff, freezing it, and then take it out.
And then they freeze it.
The final quarter of the show is about making it work. Now that he has ground the staff down like a tyrant with a hairstylist and rebuilt them in his image, it's time to see if they can make all these new changes work. The restaurant is filled with customers again, but they always heighten the stakes by inviting either a local celebrity or a food critic to try the updated dishes, so everything has to go smoothly. Naturally, given they are thrown in at the deep end on night one with a full restaurant, the kitchen staff usually stumble and slip into old bad habits.
We're going back again. We're going back to our old bullshit ways. Don't touch what he's doing.
They're buckling under the pressure of a kitchen, filmed almost like we're in the engine room of the Titanic before it sinks.
You've got to push it.
Yes, chef. Table 1, please.
Dwayne, off you go. Table 50, let's go.
Gordon tries to find a way to motivate the staff.
Is it with your fucking kitchen and cleaner, you lazy cunt?
Inspired by fear of being yelled at again, the chef gets their shit together and delivers the rest of the food orders, and the night is at least a moderate success. Gordon then acts as if this one night of relief from totally crippling failure is a clear sign that they are on a path to unbridled success. With most episodes ending on an optimistic note, despite the bleak reality just weeks, months, or years later. Kitchen Nightmares is a sensational reality TV series because it takes what should be a low-stakes situation like cooking and serving food and highlights the drastically high stakes for the struggling owners involved. Restaurants are notoriously tough businesses, and the show is an examination in how human beings can find themselves on a fast track to failure and, due to their levels of stress, become so defensive that they blind themselves to obvious solutions to fix the problem. Gordon Ramsay enters the situation as the potential knight in shining armor, but a knight who has no manners or patience and a potential anger problem. The owners and audience are faced with the similar dichotomy as Hugh Laurie's character in House. Would you rather be treated by a rude doctor who cures you or a nice doctor that keeps you sick? Well, I suppose a 60% mortality rate isn't great. And that's why, after 7 years, the crossover between anger management class and the culinary arts came to a close, with only a formula left behind to examine. This recipe of intense emotional outbursts over increasingly low-stake tasks from a bipolar millionaire against a delusional failed business owner and their underpaid staff is what made Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares a television network's wet dream. This is a new channel, so don't forget to like and subscribe and tune in to the next video.